for quite a long time.
Yeah, very, very true. And so it is time to go into picks and bans for our second game between CJ and Samsung. Of course, you can go to ogn.azubu.tv and vote for your favorite plays of the week. Bang won it this time around. And what is the first ban? Gragas will be the ban. You'd have to expect these are going to be a bit different with all the roster changes for CJ.
Yeah, Azir still going to be banned out against Coco, though. They're afraid of him first picking that champion. He is an absolutely incredible Azir player. Even though Crown prefers it, the danger of the first pick Azir is just considered too great.
And the Rise will be the next ban.
Okay. So Rumble banned against Helper. Do you go ahead and ban the Elise here if you're on CJ's side and try and get a different first pick? The Gnar may be important in this match. Kuve also a decent Gnar player.
Rek'Sai.
Will be Rek'Sai, so they're setting up for a first pick Elise. So, but they haven't banned Kalista.
That's true. Will they ban the Kalista, or will the Elise get through? And is the Elise even a big deal for Trick to pick up? You'd think so right now, but
well, I would pick Kalista for space.
I'm saying if Kalista is banned, then yeah. But
yeah.
If Kalista is not banned, then yes, I would think Kalista for space would be a very good idea. Italy. Wow.
Okay, so tough decision for CJ Entis. I would just give space Kalista because he's your veteran player and the one that can probably deliver the most on an OP pick. But that said, if you want Trick to really show his stuff here, maybe you just say, okay, we're going to first pick for you, and that means that Victor and Kalista could go over to Fury and Crown. That is a not enticing prospect, but they're not even going to take the Kalista themselves. This is the furthest we've seen Kalista fall down in quite some time.
Yeah, and she might keep falling. I'd be pretty surprised, though. I mean, it looks like they're prioritizing getting their subs on comfortable champions, but still, that Kalista.
Yeah, Thresh Maokai being flashed over here, but I don't think that's really necessary. You can always take the Gnar later on in the draft to counteract the Maokai if you want to win that lane. No Shen ban means that we will see what Helper can do with Shen compared to Shy.
Well, he's certainly got a good Shen teacher, doesn't he?
So Vayne picked very early on. Very low wave clear in the side lanes for CJ Entis. And I have to say, low side lane wave clear has been one of the primary ways that CJ loses games. Yeah. They tend to do this. They pick things like Fizz Vayne or Shen Vayne, and then they get pushed in, and they die.
We'll see if Samsung identifies that. Maybe Maokai Lee Sin looks like it will be.
I think Fury should just say screw it and play Lucian here. Play Lucian Braum, get a big pressure advantage. It might be tempting to play Kalista, but I would play something with more control over the wave to punish this Shen Vayne combination, because if you take that first turret, you could just walk into Shen's lane and take his tower too immediately afterward.
So will it be the Thresh for Max? Oh, there's something we haven't seen for a little while.
Mid lane Kha'Zix, not going to be the choice. I wonder what Coco is going to take into the Victor. Does he want to actually go for the Twisted Fate again? He's going to switch over to Ignite. I think he's going to play Ahri. I think he's going to play Ahri.
Yeah, hovering over the Ahri, and it looks like that's what it is going to be. Ahri.
It makes more sense with their composition. CJ's playing a really powerful pick comp. So that is the first Ashe that we have seen in Korea.
Wow, yeah. Despite the rework, despite the use in NA and EU, we have not seen an Ashe picked until now.
I don't really think this is a good idea, Doa. CJ Entis is playing a pick composition. I would have just played the Lucian here and tried to dominate the laning phase and tried to play the turret game. Certainly Ashe has okay wave clear, but very interesting decision because Ashe also doesn't have a lot of mobility. And CJ, look how many ways they have to catch you at. Every single champion on CJ has single target CC.
You're right.
Condemn, Hook, Flay, Charm, Cocoon, Taunt. I mean, this composition is designed to just pick people off one by one.
If you nail somebody with an Ashe arrow, Shen's just going to ult them.
You would think that, right? Now, Samsung has some pretty good pick themselves. Of course, they have Braum for the stun. They have the arrow set up and then the twisted advance and the Lee Sin kick, so they can fight that way. Certainly they have a stronger late game team fight because there's no real peel for the Vayne here from CJ, and they just don't have good engage beyond landing a Cocoon or a Charm and bursting somebody down, which is okay, but it's nothing compared to, say, an Ashe Arrow or a Maokai.
Well, let's see if Samsung can tie it up, or if CJ gets a 2-0. Let's get in the game and find out. All right, here we are. Samsung Galaxy versus CJ Entus. A huge cheer for CJ and their 3 subs, Helper, Trick, and Max in this game. And Samsung, this could be their last game for the rest of the year.
Yep, very well could be. They're pinning their hopes onto Ashe, the first Ashe pick we have seen since the rework here in Korea.
Wow.
And she was nerfed pretty significantly. One of Ashe's old strengths was, at least with the volley, that you could stack up your Q to immediately trigger it during a team fight and start to pump out damage. But now you can only get 1 stack off of volley no matter how many people you hit. So that has made her team fighting significantly lower damage than it used to be.
So I wonder what we're going to see. Obviously, some good Ashe arrows could set up for some pretty heavy damage by Crown. I don't know.
Interesting that we see the sapling stacking beginning here for QV instead of at the more normal start from the Raptor buff. Fury and Wraith just hiding in the lane right now. Lane swap will be coming through, so Space and Max will not have to worry about that Ashe in lane constantly volleying them and following up. And I can understand that combination, because if you basically land an Ashe slow with Frost Shot and then Braum comes in and hits you with Winter Spite and they just start stacking, they just basically keep you permanently slowed and they stun you. That's probably really annoying.
Probably is.
Okay.
Max coming in trying to be annoying, but a little bit late to the party.
That's why if you weak side jungle, you start at the buff, because it makes it much harder to actually harass you here. Gets a good flay in, but it's nowhere near as effective as it would be. He doesn't have quite as much time to start harassing on the buff, and there's the level 2.
It was all about getting the soul from that tiny raptor.
He's got to get that soul. Steal the souls of birds.
That's right. Raptor Soul. It's the name of my hair metal band in the late 80s when I was 6 years old. Was hardcore.
Was it about birds or was it about dinosaurs, Doa?
Both.
Just going for the double form of the raptor. One song is about the velociraptor, one song is about eagles.
I like to switch it up like that, you know? Got it. Well, Helper's going to be zoned out pretty heavily early on by this lane.
Yep, that's very annoying for him, but similar annoyance in the top side, you have to say. The Vayne, who is so good in those 1v1 scenarios, putting out a lot of damage with those true silver bolts, even when you don't have very many items. True. True silver.
Silver bolts. Correct.
Well, we will see Thresh just come back down to help. Space gets the freeze off next to his turret. Helper dangerously overextended, but that will shift soon as Max comes down to join him.
And all eyes in the studio are really on Fury right now. See what he can do on this Ashe.
I just don't get why you put Fury on Ashe. Fury is a cornerstone of this Samsung team, and you need him to output damage in team fights. That is his strength. You had a perfectly fine chance to take the Lucian here, which is one of his best champions, and take over the game in terms of team fighting on that. And as long as you have good vision, CJ will have a very hard time using this pick comp against you. But instead, it is the Ashe.
Why not?
Trick not doing anything early here, but there's a lot of kill pressure in these lanes. Everybody on Samsung has to be very careful because when this Elise shows up, the setup for the Cocoon is absolutely huge. Easy to land the Cocoon after a taunt. Easy to land the Cocoon after a hook or a charm.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the most relevant thing, I think, when we're looking at picks and bans, that every single champion has single target CC of some type. Eve taking a lot of damage from Trick here. Space coming down, and Twisted Advance before he gets the taunt. He's going to try to go over with the safeguard. Can Space get back there? Space taking a lot of damage. There's a Cocoon again. Kuve in a little bit of trouble. Space needs to be careful here, but Kuve taking a lot of damage, and they get him. First blood goes to Space. Didn't bother flashing, I guess.
That was really weird. You have to be very careful. Remember that Eve has a percent HP execute.
Yeah, and Space does true damage.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, I think he just hasn't... I don't know. It looks like he didn't expect Elise to be able to get into range to execute him, but she did, and that is first blood onto Space already.
You don't want to give the Vayne first blood, but Kuve did that.
It's one of those rules of League of Legends. Don't give the hyperscaling carries the
yeah.
first blood. You want to attack them while they're weak and vulnerable in the early game, not power them up where they are absolute monsters, and with the help of that sweet, sweet first blood money, that'll be a blade of, well, it was a cutlass rather, completed already. Kuve has to go for a second Doran's Ring just to remain relevant.
And I don't really care how thick your ring is or if it's made of adamantium or something like that. It's not going to stop a cutlass coming at you.
How big is the ring?
Doesn't matter. Unless it's like a ring that you wear on your torso that covers all your vital organs, I don't think it's going to do much good against a sword.
Why does Maokai want to play soccer or be a soccer goal? I don't really understand that.
Well, see, you're controlled by the summoner, and the summoner decides what sports you like.
No,
Actually,
you're not, Doa.
None of that is true anymore, yeah.
Summoners were deleted.
We haven't figured out why the champions are fighting yet, but we know summoners aren't the reason anymore. Free recalls. Let's see what he picks up. Wait for it. It's a
pickaxe.
It's a
BF sword.
BF sword. All right, there we go. Yeah. Waited a little while, but he got it.
He made it happen.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. That hurts. That hurts real bad.
Yep. Solo lane Vayne is
real
really
bad.
strong.
It hurts real bad.
Now he got the flash, so nice little bonus there. Space just chasing him all the way back. Has that cutlass active to add a little bit more damage onto Kuve. So he's going to have to be even more careful as he waltzes down the lane on his next sojourn for farming. Actually just going to TP for the wave right now. Meanwhile, Trick in the enemy jungle, just ruining Eve's plans of taking that red buff. That's a great time to counter jungle. Yeah. You know that the Maokai is bullying out of the lane. You have the Vayne there. No problem at all. And Eve cannot take the red buff as a result.
Pretty big wins for CJ across the board here, but especially in that top lane.
Do you like diving Maokais?
I love diving Maokais. Space can do a lot of damage, and that's a three-man dive coming in onto Kuve with no flash, pinned against the turret. Oh, the CC comes in, and Coco gets his first kill of the game.
Ouch. Just nothing you could do there. Kuve had a really tough decision. Do I TB into that top side to try and take some of that farm? And he made that choice because otherwise he was going to lose a ton of golden XP. Samsung will respond with a dragon now that they pushed that wave up and only the Shen on the bottom side of the map. So at least they get something out of it.
Yeah,
but it will be traded for a turret. Gold split between Space and Trick. Can they go for a dive here will be the question.
Oh, Asher on the max. Yep, he's going to be in big trouble there. Shen trying to ultimate time, but it doesn't work. Taunt comes in. Eve somehow gets out of that.
And the Ignite doesn't actually finish him off. Fury has that Q helper.
That was close, man.
Very, very close. They almost actually lost 2 people on that dive. Could have been tough situation, but they make the dive work, and that was a nice Ash Arrow landed by Fury. Max not playing respectfully. Now, he should have known that the dragon was going down right there.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a bit of a rookie mistake by Max.
Just took a point-blank Ash Arrow to the face. That is not something you're going to walk away from.
Not with so many people in the tri-brush.
No.
And he just hasn't been able to get into the river. Of course, those pink wards have been down for quite some time from Samsung. So he has no information whatsoever about what's going on, and it was an easy setup for Samsung, actually.
Pretty much. And still, despite that, CJ with the gold lead for now. Being up a turret, being down a dragon.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Space just so close to the Blade of the Ruined King. Meanwhile, Fury going for the Avarice Blade after the BF Sword, so he's going to have to be super conscious about any kind of ganking going on. Meanwhile, Trick does finally help to clear out pink wards in the river. It's going to deny a lot of the advantage that Samsung had when it comes to ganking that bottom side, and there's so many ways for Trick to get in on the opposition now. It's a really dangerous position for Fury and Wraith, potentially, if they do push forward.
No, Eve thinking about coming in for a lane gank here. Space and Max need to be a little bit careful. Whoa! Arrowed. Max in a little bit of trouble. Condemn pushes Fury away. Will Max live? Flays Wraith. Doesn't look like he'll get out. Max, nope, not quite making it.
But guess
Eve
what?
gets the kill. That's right. Tom comes in. Helper has arrived to do just that. Gets one kill onto Fury. Wraith in a lot of trouble. There's another one for Space. Can they get a third? Eve in a lot of trouble. One more should do it. And Space gets out.
And they commit to a play right there, despite the fact that they really don't have any control over the top side of the map. Cuvée just simply has been held down. So by making plays on the bottom side, you open up the possibility for Shen just to come through and make plays like that. Very hard to deal with. And this is CJ really just snowballing. Samsung is a little bit helpless. What do? Basically, you're trying to make plays onto the Vayne, who's already been fed, but you don't have that same level of global presence that the Shen does. And Cuvée really needs to farm right now to get back into this one.
Yeah, very true. Man, so one kill on to Max, and Samsung loses 3 people in return.
Well, it's a smart one. If you're Samsung, you want to land the arrow onto the Thresh, because if you land it onto the Vayne, then Thresh will just lantern the Vayne out. So you have to hit the Thresh with it and try and run him down, but they end up so far down the lane that Helper has an easy way to respond.
Space just checking to make sure that Eve's not coming in for another lane gank again. He knows that Enchanted Crystalline Arrow is coming up for Fury. It is up for Fury. That's the nice thing about this Ashe, too, is that ult is up a lot. Trick coming in.
Yep, and
They see him.
Saw him, but he will clear the ward with the help of the Raptor buff. Meanwhile, Fury and Wraith have to fall back, knowing that Eve isn't there. Hawkshot goes out. They're looking for Coco, because right now, Crown went back, and they know this is a major possibility that Coco comes down here to dive them.
Trick's still sticking around as well, too. Dragon up in 1:30, so CJ really wants to equalize that. This is their chance.
Yeah, just set up the vision, get the pinks in, and force Samsung to face check, and you will probably get a kill.
Yep.
Eve waiting there for Trick. Cocoon,
Trick could be in a lot of trouble. Q lands, he's going to repel immediately, preventing Eve from getting the Dragon's Rage off. Gravity Field goes down a little bit early, and Trick manages to avoid that. Arrow comes through, hits Trick! Gravity Shield gets Crown the kill, and now Helper on the run as well, too. Max in trouble, gets knocked up by Wraith's Ultimate Fury coming in, put damage from the side. Samsung wins that fight. Crown with the double kill.
Yeah,
Whoops.
Don't go in. Trick missed his cocoon and got himself into a position where he could not escape easily.
Really nice arrow from Fury, too.
Yeah, CJ, they could have just kind of zoned off. Maybe Trick gets to live, but they tried to turn it around once the Shen ult came through, but Cuvée already fast on the TP was able to get there in time. So just back off when the very crucial skill shots are down, because if you don't land that cocoon, if you don't land the CC in your CJ, you probably already lost the fight.
True.
You have to hit those skill shots.
Well, Fury has hit all 3 of his Ashe arrows that he's fired so far. Good start for the Ashe.
Yeah, he's doing well on Ashe, but that's not the problem. The problem is Ashe going to carry hard enough in the late game to justify this pick for Fury when we know that he can just destroy people on picks like Lucian or Kog'Maw?
That's the thing is, this Vayne is getting very, very scary already. 3-0-2 for space. He's got the Blade of the Ruined King.
He's kept even in farm. He's doing absolutely fine.
And they're going to head up towards Dragon after seeing that Trick's not in the brush there. Trick is up in the top side of the map. Dragon is live right now. And Samsung's going to go for it. Looks like CJ may just give this one up.
Yeah, they don't have the position right now. They know the Maokai's already down there. Trade it for a turret or two. Crown already coming back into the mid lane to try and clear this wave out with a Death Ray. It's like he will be successful in saving that tower. Meanwhile, Trick is just going to take the red buff and start to push up in the top lane if he can. CJ playing very passively, quite scared now. And looks like they're not going to get much. Maybe some tier 2 damage, but that's about it. Meanwhile, Kube already coming back around, doesn't have home guard, so it's a bit of a long walk.
Kube, yeah, he's going to be able to clear a lot of this out. Clear all of it out. So a little bit of damage onto 3 turrets done by CJ, but giving up that second dragon, and that means Samsung's up 2-0 as far as dragons go.
And look at this, QSS second from space. He knows he has the big gold lead, so he can afford a bit of a non-damage item right now, and that is going to be very helpful against the arrow and even against the damage coming in from Victor and from Maokai. So we'll see if this pick is justified right now. He knows that he doesn't have a big tank to go through because Maokai, even though he's up a little bit in terms of CS, has been relatively well held down this game.
Well, Space knows having that QSS second too prevents him from getting hit by the, or from getting stunned too much by the arrow. Fury.
Yeah, trying to trade aggressively with Fury. Just wants to use the sustain advantage he has to build up a lead over time, and he has the Thresh Lantern to get him back nice, safe, and sound.
Yeah. With Fury's ult more or less nullified by the QSS, he can be really aggressive like this.
Yeah, and he always has Shen there too. Yep. If he needs some backup, there's that opportunity for Shen to come in. And here we go, Trick back in that mid lane, wants to clear out this pink ward, and will get every opportunity to do so.
Mid lane kind of a contest right now as well. The game slowing down just a bit. Oh, Space actually taking a decent amount of damage from Fury. He turns around, he pops that ultimate. Final hour goes off. Space gets knocked up. There's a shield from Thresh. Oh, Death Sentence misses. Space still doing damage to Wraith. Will he get a condemn against the turret? No, Trick coming in. They're going to try to dive this. Trick misses his cocoon, though. That's a lot of damage on Wraith. Here comes Coco. Trick pops up with the repel. Wraith still alive somehow, but it looks like Fury will go down after that charm lands from Coco. Looks like they might give up a turret for this.
Yeah, but how many turrets are they going to give up for this is going to be the question. Shen already moving forward, trying to proxy the wave. How far are they going to push it?
Not too far.
Looks like they just want to get some farm for space and make sure that there's not going to be a freeze here if they can avoid it, which doesn't really look like they're going to be able to avoid that freeze situation. So turret for a turret, but mid lane lost for CJ.
Yeah. Now, Coco has already started to roam around the map and look for picks, so does this really hurt him a lot?
I mean, yes, because he will lose another tower, and they can see him if he's pushed back to his tier 2. It's not a very good situation for Coco. Also, it's a lot easier for them to get wards in to track his movement now.
Suppose that is true.
So not a big edge, but CJ can bounce back. Remember, this turret is really low in the mid lane.
Yeah, looks like he might be able to actually just take it out right now. Yeah, looks like he will. Max there for a little bit of protection. Recall coming in for Wraith already. Eve trying to do something, but nope. Turret goes down, gets out on the Lantern. Oh, it doesn't go down.
20 HP.
Whoa.
All that remains on that tower.
Did he check his last auto? I thought I saw him wind it up.
I think it hit, but it just wasn't enough. That's very annoying for CJ because they're not going to have another chance for that for quite some time now that Victor is back and easily pushing forward in this lane.
Well, not unless Coco wants to burn his ultimate to dash in and take it out really quick and then dash out.
Yeah, even then that is pretty damn risky.
Fury just taking the Wolves on their way down, dragging up in about 2 minutes. Helper is way down in CS to Cuvée right now, but at least he's got some kills and assists.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He also has some more global gold from the Dragons, so it's not the end of the world for him. But props to Cuvée, who had a really tough early game. He has found a way back into this one by intelligently farming, considering that it was all not working out for him while he was dove, and now actually finding a way to get back into gold, getting that righteous glory so he can engage for his team.
Oh, Cocoon misses again. Trick has not hit a lot of those this game.
Well, he's hit some important ones too. It's been an okay showing from Trick's Elise. Has in fact set up many of the kills that CJ's gotten, but yes, he probably could have gotten another one there had he landed the Cocoon.
Blue buff is going to go to Crown. Helper coming up. CJ really wants to get some vision down before this dragon respawns. Helper, though, has, there we go, puts down the ward. Take out the mid lane turret. One auto should do it. There we go. And that's really big to be able to get that down right before dragon comes up.
Absolutely is, especially since CJ still has their bottom tier one. Now they are sitting in a ward.
Well, yeah.
That's not going to work. They could get just arrowed here.
Yeah, they do. Max, Shen ult onto him right away, trying to stay alive. Whoa, Trick repels over the wall. That was a bad idea. Gonna get kicked out of the Chaos Storm, but still killed anyway. Cuvée comes down with his teleport. Helper used to stand united. He's already there. Doesn't need to TP down. I don't know why Trick went over that wall.
No, you do not go over that wall. As soon as you've been found out, you're just happy that you get the arrow out at that point, and you back off into the darkness surrounding the dragon and try that again. Because you just can't fight 5v5. This is a pure pick comp. That is what it's used for. You don't have engage. Elise repelling into an enemy team is not a legitimate form of engage in League of Legends.
No. No, I don't think it is. CJ didn't get any turrets or anything like that out of it as well. And Samsung may still be behind a tiny bit on gold, but they're up 3 dragons to 0 right now.
That's very scary for a pick comp, because as long as they keep misplaying the pick comp around the dragon, there's no way they can 5v5 there, and Samsung will win that almost every time.
It's really starting to look that way.
Yeah, they have to get there and set up a pick. Get a kill before Samsung can group on the objective. They had the right idea there, but they simply didn't sweep out the ward. They didn't realize that there was a ward there, and then they misplayed after the arrow hit them, because with the Shen ult coming in, I think they probably could have successfully disengaged, but they did not do so.
Well, we can certainly see a few rough edges here around CJ's sub-roster. Not very often where you see an Elise just repel to doom like that.
Repel to doom.
Yep.
So unfortunate.
That play repelled me.
Did it?
It did, yeah. Done.
Okay. Back to 1-3-1 split pushing with the Vayne. But the wards have to be there for CJ. They need to start getting some deep wards into the enemy jungle so they can make good decisions about how to kill these members of Samsung while they're split up. Otherwise, this whole composition falls apart. Looks like they're going to start doing that. We do see Trick and Max making their way into the bottom side.
Another turret falls, and Samsung gets closer to catching up. They do need to worry a little bit about this tier 2, but not much, obviously.
Well, they're going to start defending the mid lane turret, too. Shen still just sitting there. I don't know. CJ has an opportunity just to straight up dive them. No need to be shy. Remember that Shen can just come in, and space is pretty fed in this game.
Yeah, he is, but it doesn't look like his team has a lot of confidence going in right now.
That pink ward's been there forever, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
Nobody thinking to check that brush yet on the side of Samsung.
Cuvée is just hanging out by it all day.
Yep, this is what you want to do. Oh, that's not what you want to do.
Trick has been rather underwhelming on this Elise.
Well, they picked it first for him, so
They did.
he's not having a first pick at least worthy performance, I think we can say.
Yep. I would definitely say that. Helper's caught up in CS.
Oh.
Coco, whoa, the arrow narrowly misses. Oh, hit Trick. Bad luck, Trick.
Then on the other side, just sitting there stunned, but
Yep.
obviously no follow-up.
Well, at least he didn't repel into the enemy team afterwards.
That's good. He wasn't in range. Maybe that was the reason.
Maybe.
I'm a bit surprised by Trick. He did play very well against SK Telecom and CJ's win.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's not a great game. Oh, Space comes in, final hour activated. Fury not condemned against the wall just yet. There we go, and he's going to get taken out. Nice play by Space. Had that extra shield from Helper.
And that's how you play that. Every time. Use the pink ward that's been in that brush forever. That pink ward has gotten insane value from CJ.
No kidding. And Space, at least, making the plays. Helper pressed R, made sure it helped out. Oh, gets the taunt onto Wraith. That's a lot of damage on this Braum. He ults for some reason. Whoa.
Well, he has to try and live. That's a reasonable ult to make right there.
You think so?
Yes. You have to try and live. The problem was that he used his Unbreakable earlier, and they knew the ability was on cooldown, so he couldn't play. He really couldn't defend after that. And he massively overcommitted to the defense when very little respect for the damage coming in off this very fed Vayne, who is now even more fed.
Two more kills added in quick succession, and Samsung, ooh, taunt, nice descendants onto Kube, gets pulled back into the box. He's gonna get very low. Coco coming in, whoa, arrow. Cleanse immediately by Space. They're gonna send the Chaos Storm after him as well too. But
that was a really good QSS.
It was a very, very fast cleanse.
From Space.
Oh, Wraith coming in. If he had his ult right now, that could have been a good play, but
no, they can't play this.
Turret. Oh boy, Eve gets grabbed. This is a messy one. Max gets taken out. That's a kill for Ashe. Blue buff doing work as well too. Coco getting chased here. Samsung really wants some more kills, and I think they're going to get him. Helper in trouble. Wow, a lot of damage coming in from behind. Space doing work here. He's untouched. There's a kill nearly on Kube. Trick very low though. Space taking a lot of damage from Fury. He has to back away. Pops that ultimate to stay alive. Gonna get seen anyway though. Oh, CJ is about to get ace, aren't they? Oh boy. Yep, there we go. And Coco, I don't think you're making out of this one, buddy.
Space was really the hero of that team fight, actually. Yes, CJ got ace, but he nearly 1v5'd them, which is very scary, and he's going to go back and pick up a Phage immediately. So a lot of money to spend, but they do get some nice shutdown gold onto him. Samsung eventually split them up and was able to take down the low HP targets. This is going to be Dragon number 4 for Samsung, and this is where it starts to get scary for CJ.
Yep.
They did some work around that top turret. They started to play those picks, but they overstayed their welcome. And Samsung's, well, they got him low enough, and Coco simply didn't have any mana during that entire engagement.
This was one of the messiest team fights I've ever seen, but Samsung getting a pretty good angle to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, easy pick there. Coco just can't do anything. If Coco has mana, this team fight goes differently. Sure, he has blue buff, but can't really kite out. Now watch Space here. He's just untouched. Look how much damage he does during the course of this team fight. He chunks out everybody on Samsung before finally Fury's able to put some damage onto him. Now Coco going to be in the bottom side, and Trick lands the cocoon onto Wraith, but gets killed by a Winter's Bite, and there's no help for Space. You know, I think if I'm Trick right there, I go with Space instead.
I think it's pretty important to protect that Vayne. CJ going for the Baron right away, but Samsung is onto them. They have to back off immediately.
Yeah, they can't do the Baron without getting a pick first. They are, if they get hedged in around that Baron, they're going to be in a world of hurt, considering that there's a lot more AoE from
Top
Samsung.
lane battle.
So you just love it.
Oh yeah. Sapling makes it unfair. It's a 2v1 then. Ooh, CJ waiting for an opportunity. Charm does not connect though.
Here we go. More pink wards falling. So Samsung definitely losing the ward wars, and this is really important for CJ.
Oh man.
That hook lands. That is
Cocoon hit.
Oh,
Charm onto Eve. That could be it. Wraith comes in with the shield, though. Nice reaction by Wraith to get that shield up in time.
if that hook hits, that's probably a Baron for CJ.
Yeah.
Doesn't manage to make it work. They can't get the follow-up damage, even though the charm eventually lands, because after the charm lands, there's no more follow-up CC. The cocoon was down, the hook was down, so you're not going to be able to catch a Lee Sin who can simply W away to a ward.
Yeah. Still a very tense situation here for CJ. As they maneuver on the Baron, at least they've got that vision for now anyway. And they've got the pressure on the mid lane as well.
Yeah, they don't have
Helper
TP either. Samsung doesn't have TP, so
Yeah.
this is the proper way to play this if you're CJ. Just continue fishing for hooks and for cocoons and wait while Shen split pushes. And if you see the Maokai,
And they will.
then start faking the Baron. Right
You go
now,
for it. Yep.
I
There
think they just need to put, well,
they're going for it. Okay, Shen in position. He's recalling right now to make sure he's ready to TP in. Baron getting lower. They land the Winter's Bite onto Coco.
Where is
They need
Shen?
to be really careful here. That's a Chaos Storm with a ton of damage. Baron getting very low. Crown with the kill already. Baron taken by Eve. Samsung steals it. They get the kills, and CJ, that was not a great decision to stick
You
around.
have to
Triple
just-
kill for Crown.
you cannot fight in the Baron pit against the Victor AoE if you are CJ. You have nothing compared to that. And what we saw was Shen recalling into the base instead of just using his ult and having his team turn. So CJ making exactly the wrong call there.
Well, I think there's a pretty big difference between the normal CJ roster and the CJ roster with all their subs. 'Cause this CJ
the
team
shot
looks
calling
pretty bad.
If we compared the shot calling that we saw in Game 1 to Game 2, it is a world of difference.
Yeah. Wow. Well, at least the subs are getting some experience, right?
At least they are. Well, let's watch Helper here. Helper is recalling.
Why?
And I guess he wanted an item.
Well, his team eats a huge Chaos Storm.
Yeah, I don't even know where he ulted. Oh, he ulted Space here, but I mean, by the time that Space is trying to finish that Baron, but
It's very late
his
ult.
jungle trick is dead, so there's no chance he's going to get it unless he gets like a really lucky crit.
All right, well, Samsung now has the Baron. They've got 4 dragons. They've got a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I think
6,000 gold lead.
I think they will comfortably win this game, Doa. They're going to have the Baron buff up for the next dragon in case there is a fight. Remember, CJ already at a disadvantage when it comes to 5v5s. And I think the most confusing thing for me, Doa.
Oh, arrow
here
comes
the
through.
arrow.
Oh, nice. Connects with Coco. Wow. Fury's Ash arrows have been really good. Man, Eve just punts Thresh back out of there, and Samsung cruising to victory here. Space,
Nice
a lot of
ult
health
from
left,
Ray.
actually. Space trying to kite away as best he can. Eve taking some damage, has to be careful here. Helper doing everything he can to keep Space alive, and he does.
Yep, now you just win the game.
But all 4 people go down. Yep, that is it. With the Baron minions, Samsung's going to have a very, very quick win here. 33 minutes.
Well played by Samsung. That last team fight was really well done.
Yeah, it was.
And you have to compliment Fury's arrows were on point this game.
They're really good. Oh, there we go. There's the ace. Now for the Nexus, and Samsung at least will get 1 win here. Their final match, GG.
And I wonder if CJ will actually swap players.
Gee, I wonder.
No, they
doesn't
don't
matter.
have to.
I mean-
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, might as well give them more experience, really.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, well, Ash gets a win. How about that?
That was, it's just funny because if we think about Game 1 and how well they avoided the enemy team to make those picks, and then Game 2, how they just couldn't set up vision. The most perplexing thing for me, Doa, was they had all those wards around